Hey, Jeremy Lund here with Kiteboard Coach. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some travel tips with you. We're going to be talking about how to get a lot of equipment into a single bag. Now, the first bag we're going to be using is the Golf Deceiver bag from NP Surf. Now, I'm going to show you first how to get 3 kites, 1 twin tip, 2 bars, a harness, and a pump all into 1 deceiver bag. Now, the bag we're going to be using is the 140 centimeter golf bag from NP Surf. Now, these bags are really good to use for travel because on a lot of airlines, golf bags actually fly free. Now, there's a few tricks we have to use with this so that it can fit and be underweight. We got to get under 50 pounds, which is the cutoff. All right, so the first thing you want to do with your kites deflated is go ahead and lay them all out and lay them on top of each other. You want your biggest kite as the base layer, your second biggest kite in the middle, and your smallest kite on top. And make sure you've got the trailing edges lined up as best you can. And you're just gonna roll, and you wanna kind of roll that first wingtip onto the second wingtip, roll again, and then however they kind of line up. But the important aspect here is that the trailing edge stays aligned with all 3 kites. And then you kind of just let that leading edge do what it wants to do. All right, once it's rolled, for now, you're gonna leave it just like that while you go prep your board and your harness and everything else to be packed. All right, so now with your board, you wanna go ahead and take off your foot pads and your fins as well. Now, you can leave your fins on if you'd really like to, but it can damage the board bag. What's really cool about this bag is they have put reinforcements inside the bag where the fins are normally going to sit. So that's really going to help make sure that you don't damage the bag, but it's still a good idea to go ahead and take them off, or at the very least, take some cardboard or something and wrap it around the fins. I have had airlines actually break the fins off before, even on my twin tip, so they're really tossing these bags around. So it's just better to take them off. But, go ahead and as usual, just take your foot pads and foot straps off. Okay, so your screws, obviously you want to put these in a little plastic bag or something, and then go ahead and put them up in this pouch. The straps as well can go up into this pouch so you don't lose them. Now the foot pads, these are great padding, additional padding for your board, so make sure you get all the sand off there, and you're just going to throw them out the bottom of your bag just for additional padding and support. All right, so once the board's prepped, make sure it's nice and clean. The sand is going to really kind of scratch your board up during travel, but try to get it nice and clean. Again, your pads down on the base, just additional protection. You're gonna slide your board in, and it goes in first. Now next, you're gonna go ahead and bring your kite, or kites I should say. You've got all 3 kites rolled together, and lay them in, and this is pretty important actually, with the leading edge at the bottom. And that's because that's the widest part of the bag, and the leading edge is gonna take up the most space. And you're gonna just tuck that in there. And then fold your kites back until it's a good fit. Now, we've got additional gear to put in here, but the first thing I want you to do is actually go ahead and close the bag up. And the reason for this is we just want to get additional air out. So you're going to close your bag up and just kind of put some weight on it, give it 10, 15 minutes or so, and it's going to kind of let more and more of that air out. You'll open it back up, and then you'll put the other gear on top. So again, kite's in there, just put some weight on it, give it a few minutes. All right, so now that I've let this sit for a little bit, open it back up. And now I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the rest of the gear in there. Now, usually with the spreader bar, I like to go ahead and take that off. And we'll do something with that in a little bit. And then I just lay my harness on top, All right. Now the bar and lines, this bag has a great spot on the front to put your bar and lines. Me personally, I like to put them in with the kite, just because the kite offers some additional padding for the lines. I'm very nervous always about my lines getting nicked or scratched during travel. You know, you don't want your lines breaking when you're out in the water. So I like to keep them in with the rest of the equipment. And then what I'll do is I'll actually put my pump in this, this pouch instead. You know, you can use the pouches however you want, of course, but this definitely gets all the equipment in there. Now with the spreader bar pad, what I like to do is actually put this up at the front, just like so. Put it up in the front with the spreader bar facing out. Essentially, if they're throwing the luggage around or something, that just kind of adds a little stiffness to the front and helps protect the board and all the contents of the bag. Now, of course, always be very careful not to get your kites caught in the zipper. All right, it's all in there, but there's still a few things that you should do. Now, usually when you're compressing a bag like this and you're zipping it, the teeth of the zipper are not actually biting as well as they could. So once the zippers are together, I like to kind of run it back and forth a few times, and that just helps reseat the zipper. I'm sure you've all had luggage where, you know, that zipper splits open during travel. Not a fun situation, so that really can help avoid that. So last item to go in, we've got our pump. It's gonna go right up top. Take the hose off. Zips right up. Then go ahead and fasten these buckles and cinch them down. That's it, you're good to go. You've got 3 kites, a 140 twin tip, a pump, a harness, and 2 bar and lines in one bag. The golf bag from NP, I really like how they've added this large front compartment. It's a great place to put your bars, or your pump can fit in there really nicely. As well, they're using nylon zippers. Again, some people do prefer metal, but I don't by any means. The nylon is gonna help you in 2 ways. A, if you zip your kite in there accidentally, it's not gonna tear it near as easily, but also it's not gonna rust. I've had many, many zippers rust, and it's very, very frustrating. I've also got golf written right on it. It just helps the airlines. You know, sometimes looking like a golf bag isn't good enough. It says it right on it, and it helps a lot. You can point to that emblem when you're checking it in if they're giving you any trouble. Extra large compression straps, keep the bag closed if your zipper does fail. Overall, really stoked with this bag, and I look forward to using it this season.